And certainly, I was literally just there in El Peñon, Atacama Desert, as Scott was mentioning. Antofagasta, we've got the Paleocene belt, which does house a lot of low sulfidation, sort of epithermal gold deposits, and certainly, again, southeast of Antofagasta. Here's those rocks, and as mentioned, Escondida just over to the east of El Peñon, Soldado, and some of the other deposits of this type within this belt. We've got around 120,000 hectares sitting right on the center of El Peñon within that, and you can see Escondida over to the east. Here's the access in, as mentioned, 165 Ks, and you come in from the northeast there. We're going to zoom into a bit more of the deposit itself, and just really a very quick geology. We've got the Cretaceous. It's lined by two faults, and right in the center are the particular rocks that we want to find, which is tuffs and rhyolites, dacites, which house the low sulfidation gold system. Escondida sitting over there, pretty close. So the red outlines are the vein structures that we see underground. So core area, where the core mine is, slightly north, runs around 14 kilometers from north to south. We've got two other deposits, which again was in the release from yesterday, Chiquilla Chica and Tostado Sur, which are relatively high silver grades. But we'll talk about those in a minute. So now we're going to zoom into the core mine. You've got the dry stack tailings all the way down there. You see it closer on this more in-depth Google. And now, really, I mean, looking at the extensive underground workings that we have, and we're starting to bring on the resource shapes. I mean, that's over 14 kilometers from north to south. And here's some of the main structures. And when we talk about some of the areas, Pampa Campamento, which was on the release, we're going to talk about El Valle, which is a splay structure, and Paloma, which is sitting over to the north. And when we look at this in 3 dimensions, and when you start to see all of the different deposits or offshoots within these major structures, it's quite remarkable. The development as well that goes into trying to get to these areas and develop and mine these. But extensive, I mean, it's a world-class deposit, and the infrastructure alone is quite remarkable. And it's all accessible underground literally from north to south. It takes a while to get there, but you can drive it. So we're going to start to focus in on some of the details, and really the history of El Peñon has really been from 1992, 93, all the way up until today, where they've been constantly finding additional veins. Those additional veins, bring on those ounces to 500,000 ounces, through the history, and that's really been supported by the drilling. At the moment, we're drilling around 90,000 meters. We've got a 20,000 that's not there, which was additional infill drilling on reserve confirmation, and we're also putting in an additional 30,000 meters probably towards the back end of this year to continue that drilling. And as Scott mentioned, we did suffer a little bit with the reserve reconciliation last year. It's something we're working on. As I mentioned, 20,000 meters gone into reconfirmation of those reserve blocks in that higher grade areas, and it's something we're working on for the mid-year update. So can't really tell you much more. Something we're working on and very conscious of, but certainly from the exploration point of view, we'll be looking at seeing that increase in resource this year, certainly to try and show the potential that may exist. And some of that potential certainly sits in Pampa Campamento. It's one of our main stayers of the production. Around 15% of the reserve sits here in Pampa Campamento. It's being mined at the moment, and where we've had a lot of success is towards the sort of northern portion at depth of the structure itself. And I'm just going to explain a couple of bits here. You've got this pink, which is the rhyolites, we call them. It's a volcanic, and they've certainly been the mainstay, the host lithology rock that the mineralization likes to get into, and certainly been the mainstay for the most of the mine. Now recently, that that structure has been broken in terms of finding mineralization in the green dacite volcanics below it. And that's a sort of a game changer, because it means that the potential in some of these structures now can go deeper, whereas before it was only really focused on just the pink, the rhyolites. And certainly in Pampa Campamento, we're down to about 750 meters, which is really good. And that's certainly the largest vertical extent we see at El Peñon today. And it's in a intrusive andesite, which certainly opens up potential for the future. This was some of the results came in the release recently, and we'll just focus on some of those. From 163, nearly a meter at 11 grams, and 258, 1.8 at 12 grams. So certainly showing the potential that still exists in areas of these structures. The future, certainly down dip, and it's open, and we're in this newly defined lower unit, which bodes well for the future. We're now going to flip out and have a look at another structure, which again, a lot of production comes from El Valle. That sits close to Pampa Campamento in the southern portion of the mine. And if we, again, same kind of deal, we're going to look at current infrastructure where the production is. You've got the resource, reserve shapes, and then the drilling there's certainly within infill drilling and showing us some really nice widths and good grades. Again, it was in the press release, and we're really focused up in these rhyolites. And this really, again, shows you that it's still now open at depth, whereas before the idea was no, it only sits in the rhyolites in the pink. Now we're showing that in other veins we're seeing it open into the dacites, which is good. And again, 1.5 at 8.2 grams gold. So we're certainly looking at increased drilling, get the infill done, get some confidence, and then going lower into these dacites. We're going to shoot very quickly over to Paloma, which has again been one of the mainstays of the production over the past year. I think within the last 12 months, nearly 30,000 ounces has come from here alone, and this is mainly in the dacite, and certainly a future program of drilling in this particularly high grade structure is programmed. These are all incepts over 3.5, and certainly again at depth within this structure and in this sort of rock unit, which is planned for the future. Open in both directions, and it's a cross section. And now we're just going to flip out, and really again these results were in the release recently. We're going to focus in on our Pampa Sur target. This is new for us. We're hoping to get some inferred resource into the statement mid-year this year, and I think you're going to see that there's 20,000 meters that have already gone in. We've got another 10,000 meters planned for here this year, and for us, there was historic drilling here. Wasn't a focus. We've now got back in. We started to infill drill. We've now defined an area of 500 meters on strike from the previous operations. And as you can see, some great intercepts. We're in those rhyolites. The extent of this package is around 300 meters, and it's all open to the south. And you can see some of the results: 1.2 at 22 grams, and a kilo silver, which was really good. And from the historics, which I mentioned, that's worth noting. I mean, from way back, there's a 1.2 at over 4.2 grams, and all of this is open to the south. So encouraging stuff. A lot of drilling to do, a lot of work to do, and certainly looking forward to getting back down to El Peñon to review that. And I think it's worth mentioning. I mean, you've got all of these structures striking off south. There are future areas which are untouched. This southern block is certainly a focus of ours now, and I think you'll see from. Indulge me for 5 seconds to show you and you'll be able to visualize what's happening at El Peñon today. These are the drills going along to the south, drilling out to Pampa Sur. the dry stacks over to the right, and all of this open and not a lot to see, just the Atacama Desert. So with that, I'll leave you with the potential that exists.